The sport of MMA is going to have two new rules starting from 1st of November. And I am going to go through both of these rules, explain to you what they mean, and break down what the actual difference you will see inside the octagon. And I'm also going to go through some past UFC events, explain to you how differently it would have played out under this new rule set. The Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sports made these rule changes to the Unified MMA Rules, and majority of the athletic commissions around the world follow this rule set, and UFC also happen to follow this rule set. First rule change: 12 to 6 elbows are now legal for both grounded and standing opponents. It used to be banned, and now it's not. So obviously elbows were legal. You could do an arc, you could even do a 6 to 12 elbow, but you couldn't do a 12 to 6 elbow. This was an ancient rule. And you may be asking, why was it banned? I don't know. I genuinely do not know why the people at the ABC and athletic commissions decide to ban the 12 to 6 elbow, because it's not necessarily a forbidden move that's dangerous than the others. I mean, we can head kick people and then knee people, so that's pretty dangerous than a 12 to 6 elbow. But it was banned for some weird reason, but now it's not. And 12 to 6 elbow, which is basically when you elbow someone all the way from top to bottom in a linear movement, was obviously a controversial move due to it leading to Jon Jones' only actual loss in his record book. In the record book, we are not going to talk about the Dominic Reyes fight. And yeah, because of this, back in 2009, when Jon Jones was fighting Matt Hamill in Ultimate Fighter, I think it was the finale, Jon Jones was basically beating the out of Matt Hamill, and then via ground and pound, Jon Jones landed a 12 to 6 elbow. And the referee, who was Steve Masagati, saw this and gave Jon Jones a disqualification loss, which resulted in the one we see next to Jon Jones' record to this day. Nobody really liked this rule. It was a stupid rule anyways, and I am glad it's gone. Actually, the moment Jon Jones saw this on Twitter, he actually tweeted out asking Dana White to talk to the athletic commissions and get his loss removed. And Dana White also spoke about this during the press conference, in which he said he has fought with the athletic commissions to get this loss removed from Jon Jones' record. I don't think it's going to happen, since this move was legalized in 2024 and the loss via the DQ happened all the way back in 2009. And I personally do not think it should be reinstated either. So I think the law should be there, since it's been a really long time, but it's up to the athletic commissions, and I do not think they are going to change it. But regardless of that, now 12 to 6 elbows are legal, meaning Khalil Roundtree is going to unalive someone inside the octagon. I can't use the actual word, the actual word for unalive, because I'm pretty sure YouTube will remove my video. So let's just use the word unalive. First of all, Khalil Roundtree beats you up. He doesn't fight you, he beats you up. But the problem with Khalil Roundtree, especially during his last couple of fights, is that dude is super technical and reserved, calculated. He sticks to a game plan, he's super powerful, and he beats you up, dude. Like, with a 12 to 6 elbow, he's going to do some serious damage to people. Like, imagine the last fight he had with Anthony Smith. Rather than Khalil Roundtree threatening Anthony Smith with a hammer fist, imagine this dude jumps with a 12 to 6 elbow on Anthony Smith's feral body. He's gonna punch a hole through Anthony Smith's chest. Basically what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to fight Khalil Roundtree. If you're going to fight Khalil Roundtree next, just be careful. Because I would personally rather fight Jon Jones, because worst case scenario, you're going to get submitted or ground and pound. And I'm never going to fight Khalil Roundtree. That dude's going to unalive me. So the second change is actually to the definition of a grounded opponent. So it used to be, if you were a fighter and you touch the ground with your hand, you were considered to be a grounded opponent, meaning you could not be kneed in the head. This was a controversial and a stupid definition, because let's just say you were on the ground, and if you were trying to get up, even if you were halfway there, but if you were just touching the ground, you were not allowed to be kneed, which resulted in a lot of fighters actually exploiting this, especially wrestling heavy fighters. They would just go to the ground, then the striking heavy opponent just backs away. They would just get up while placing their hand on the canvas, resulting in the striking heavy opponent or any other opponent not being able to knee their head. And we had moments like Movsar Ibrahim versus Arnold Allen, especially, which was not even that far away, where Movsar was exploiting this rule, therefore gaining an unfair advantage and almost actually winning the fight, which could have been stopped via knees from Arnold Allen. So this is no longer going to be the case because they changed the definition. This is the official document that they released. The basic thing that you need to understand is now, even if you were touching the ground with your hands or your palms, you would not be considered a grounded opponent. In order for you to be considered a grounded opponent, your elbows and your knees. I'm not gonna get my knees up and show you my knees, but yeah, my knees and my elbows should be touching the canvas, meaning you can no longer just start tapping the canvas with your hand and save yourself from getting kneed in the face. And I'm a fan of both of these rules, and I'm actually a fan of this definition. And I think the Athletic Commission should actually take this a step further and completely legalize knees to grounded opponents, like even if they were grounded. Because how bad could it be? Yeah, we're talking about a sport in which I could legally head kick you while you were moving right to my shin and just basically leg kick you to oblivion. I mean, Anderson Silva versus Vito Belfort, Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier, and obviously Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. And come on, if you're allowing leg kicks to the head and then, grabbing your head and then pushing it towards my knee and then kneeing you in the face while you're standing, we should be allowed to knee. I mean, I am not a UFC fighter, so I don't know why I'm saying we, but the athletes or the fighters should be allowed to knee grounded opponents. And I know there's a chance of two fighters just rolling on the ground and then one accidentally kneeing somebody in the head and fighter going unconscious, referee not seeing it, and then things could happen. And I completely understand it, but I think the chance of that happening is low. I do not even think it's going to favor either the strikers or the grounded opponents. I just think it's going to favor someone who knows how to utilize it, and I would rather see that happen rather than someone just wet blanket over somebody else for 25 minutes straight. So yeah, maybe if you are somebody watching from an athletic commission or the ABC, please legalize grounded knees. And I'm not asking for full-blown Pride FC rules. Let's calm down here. I'm not asking for soccer kicks and no cages. Just knees to grounded opponents. Now let's talk about some real-life changes we can see inside the octagon due to these two changes. Obviously, we are going to see 12 to 6 elbows now, both in ground and pound and while also standing. I don't know exactly how someone's going to pull that off, especially while standing. We have seen that in Muay Thai, but not sure how it would translate to MMA. But I know someone will figure it out, and I can't wait to see. Now the second change is now you can knee your opponent even if their hand was touching the ground. I have seen some people saying that Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan is going to look different, and Aljo is not going to get that PTDQ victory over Peter Yan if it was to happen under this new rule set. That is wrong. Peter Yan's knee against Aljo would still be legal even under this rule set because Aljamain Sterling's knee was touching the ground. To all you Peter Yan fans, whom I am a part of, Peter Yan would still be disqualified even after this new rule change. Whereas Movsar Ibrahim versus I was going to say Arnold Allen, that fight is going to look totally different under this rule change. Arnold Allen was getting pieced up in the first 2 rounds until in the 3rd round, Arnold Allen was actually landing some heavy knees to Movsar's head. But Movsar was exploiting that previous definition and tapping the ground just in case the knee landed at the same time his hand was touching the ground, therefore illegalizing that knee, giving him the advantage. That's exactly what happened. Arnold landed the knee, at the same time Movsar had his hand on the ground, resulting in Arnold losing the position. But after this rule change, if the same fight was to happen after November 1st, Arnold might have won the fight. Arnold might have actually given Movsar Ibrahim's first ever defeat and taken away his undefeated record. But unlucky for Arnold, it happened before November 1st. The fight already happened and he lost. And those are some of the changes we can see inside the octagon in the UFC and also in other promotions that use this a similar rule set, and I think the changes aren't going to be pretty obvious, probably going to slowly start creeping in, but it's definitely going to be fun to see, because I know there's going to be a couple of wrestling heavy fighters such as Mozart, Aljamain Sterling, and every other unranked heavyweight fat slob, and hey, even Colby Covington, Bilal Muhammad, sometimes maybe, who might get called with a knee, because their muscle memory is adapted to place their hand on the canvas just to prevent themselves from getting kneed, but no longer going to save you. So exciting times ahead. Each athletic commission actually has to take these rule changes into their own rule set. Even though their rule set is inspired by the Unified MMA rules, these changes are going to be reflective even under those athletic commission rule sets. Most likely it's going to happen slowly, but it's only a matter of time. And yeah, exciting times ahead, and a lot of knees and a lot of elbows. And if you want to see more videos like this where I cover stories inside and outside the octagon, consider subscribing. Then YouTube will recommend my future videos to you and also notify you when it comes out. And the new video is actually coming out in a couple of days. And right now I have 5 subscribers. Let's see if we can get it to 7. So if 2 of you who watch this video subscribe, then my goal is completed. And here's my Twitter, and I'll see you in a couple of days with a brand new video. I also need to get a haircut, so my hair is going to look a bit different. And yeah, bye bye, see you.